regret. Hello everybody, my name is Parker and welcome to my first ever review. In this video, I'll be covering Metroid Fusion, a game that's hated by many and loved by me. That's it. Now I'm going to try and keep this review as fair as possible, but Metroid Fusion is literally my favorite game, so you can take my words with a grain of salt. The story of Metroid Fusion focuses on Samus Aran, a bounty hunter who does things her way and is literally the only person the Metroid series ever focuses on. While on a mission escorting scientists to planet SR-388, Samus encounters a weird floating blob of death known as the X-Parasite. The X absorbs itself into Samus and her power suit, but not without wreaking havoc first. On her way back to the Biologic Space Lab, or BSL, she passes out of the wheel and careens straight into a nearby asteroid belt. Narrowly escaping death, she's brought on board for treatment. Turns out that Samus is now infected head to toe with the parasite and even some parts of her suit that have to be surgically removed, which means that we have to start from square one with our abilities. Go figure. Now, I'm not a doctor, but I wouldn't exactly call this healthy. All hope seeming lost, a cure is found for this very specific and very new parasite, an experimental vaccine made from Metroid DNA. Turns out that Metroid are the natural predators of the X, so the vaccine easily be gone, fuck! Out all of the parasites. As awful as this has been so far, it's about to get much worse. Right after leaving BSL, Samus gets a mission telling her to pull a Yui because there's been an explosion at the quarantine bay on board. Armed with a basic blaster and a bossy AI, it's time to get to business. Speaking of the AI, everyone hates it. Like, everyone. In this game, you're given directions by a computer that tells you exactly where to go, and many people aren't too fond of this, seeing as the rest of the Metroid series has been open world, where the player can run free. But in my opinion, I think that having a laid out objective is exactly what a game like Fusion needs. Metroid Fusion was made for the Game Boy, a console that encourages pick up and play gaming, so it makes sense in between short play sessions you can easily lose track of where you're going. I know it may not be as fun to have directions at all times, but for some people, my younger self included, it really helps and is a big time saver. And even though this game is a bit linear, that doesn't mean that there's nothing to explore. Maybe not to the same extent as a game like Super Metroid, but this game is still full of secrets. Heck, I've beaten this game probably 30 times and I still don't know where all the items are. All that aside, there's more important matters at hand, like the newly renovated quarantine bay, which gotta say I love what they did with the place, but I'm not so sure about the new house pet and oh god, not another one! Things aren't so bad this time though, as you now possess the ability to absorb X's and regain health and ammo from them, acting like little supply drops. It's like chicken pox, you get it once and you never get it again. More chaos throughout the ship and it's time to go and get missiles, which is the first time we get to hear that sweet, sweet power-up tune. This is what dreams are made of. On to our first boss fight with this guy who looks like roadkill named Arachnus. I had to look up the boss names because they're never stated in game. Being the first boss is a hard knock life, but hey, at least you get the quickest death, so maybe count your blessings. When Arachnus is killed, it's revealed that he's actually just a clone of Arachnus. Kill the core X and you get the Morph Ball power-up. One of the scarier things about Fusion is the X's ability to mimic any life form it comes in contact with, meaning just about everything that you fight in this game will actually just be a faithful recreation of that creature. Now with the Morph Ball in our arsenal, it's time to get to the sectors where most of this game takes place. Right after heading down the elevator though, we're introduced to a key element of this game. The SAX. The X can mimic any creature, and Samus is no exception. I think we can safely say we know what happened in the quarantine bay now. Being formed from the removed parts of her power suit, the SAX has all of Samus's old abilities, making it extremely dangerous. This isn't the last time we'll be seeing it, because this thing follows us through the whole game, so you better get used to it. From this point on, the game plays out like normal. You go from section to section, solving puzzles and fighting various enemies and bosses. In my opinion, the hardest boss is this wall jump room. I don't know what it is about the Wii U version's wall jump, but it's so much harder than the Game Boy release. Along with awful wall jumping, Metroid Fusion on the Wii U also has this really weird pixel smoothing that makes me feel so uncomfortable and I have no idea why. It's just... Finishing up Sector 1, Samus thinks about how the AI reminds her of an old commanding officer she had back in the day named Adam, who was kind of rude and also maybe a hero? It said later that he made some kind of sacrifice, but that's all. The story continues on. We unlock level 1 doors and get ourselves some bombs. Oh, sweet Jesus. On our way back, there's even more explosions, and it looks like we're trapped in, until you remember that you just got bombs, so just go hog wild on everything. Oh hey, it's a secret passage. We're now in the deep, seedy underbelly of BSL, which no one wanted us to know about, and you'll see why later. We fight another boss who just really wants to divorce Samus, but good for us, the high jump ability we get doesn't come with any pre-packaged desires. After the fight, you can see that just about everything is dead. And not just dead, solidified corpses. Unsurprisingly, the culprit isn't very far behind, but now we have to be sneaky. Turns out that releasing the lock on the doors was a pretty bad idea because now the X have wiggled their way into Sector 4, which is Fusion's water level. This is another thing that Metroid Fusion gets right in my opinion. Sector 4 is full of water, but you never have to deal with any of the usual problems that plague other games' water levels, like awkward swimming and air mechanics. The only time you really have to deal with the water is short room transitions or if you fall off of a platform. More exploring, and now we get to the next fight. A large aquatic serpent named Ceres, who is definitely the real Ceres and not just an X-clone that left behind a giant skeleton. This boss has some of my favorite music as its backing theme, and the fight is pretty okay itself. You have to dodge a wall of snake and shoot its face, but now we get everyone's favorite ability, the Shine Spur. Wait, they changed it. It's called the Speed Booster, but it's pretty much the same thing, except you now have to run to charge it up. And that they had to change the controls because the Game Boy has like 2 buttons, but I don't get why they changed the name. A lot of people don't like this, but I don't really care. With another ability under our belt, it's time to drain the water levels and get the heck out of Sector 4. A fitting change from water, it's on to Sector 3. Hell. From here we reach our next boss, a security robot doing its job a little too well. I don't know exactly what kind of lab needs this level of security, but I won't question it. The little robot that could scurries away with its tail between its legs and lives on to fight another day, but not without ruining the security posit even more. Look what you did, that was a perfectly fine ceiling. This isn't really important, but on the way out I finally made it to this secret room that I've tried like 100 times to get to, so please just be proud of me. After a quick nav talk, it looks like something suspicious might be happening behind the scenes between the AI and a mysterious figure who doesn't want us to suspect anything about this mission. Good for him, we still don't, as we go down into Sector 6 without a care in the world. Another quick encounter with the SAX, and we run into this guy who's trying to steal my power-up. Get back here! I swear I'm gonna give you a piece of my— Oh, he's huge. No problem though, we've got our trusty charge shot and the support of this cave wall that looks like a face. With the power of Burlington, Samus is now impervious to extreme temperatures.
Yes, fly into your doom.
Wait, where are you going? No, come back.
You get the point by now. Freezing missiles, ominous shadow. Wait, that's weird. There's no time to think about it though, because there's a meltdown in the boiler room that needs our immediate attention or we'll die. Free some more boys and we're jumping straight into another boss fight. This time it's an X that's taken over a scientist and is trying to destroy the station. Killing it gives us the wide beam ability, and now we have to stop this core meltdown. This brings up another question. If when an X absorbs a person, they also get their knowledge, does that mean that Samus is also gaining that knowledge secondhand? She seems to know immediately how to shut off the core, so maybe this adventure is both vital and educational. Oh yeah, you see this? Man, I'm the cool— Wait, there are animals that need saving. Oh god, don't worry little buddies, I'll get you out of there. You'll be much safer out here with all these death creatures stalking the halls. Man, I am a hero. It's power bomb time, which means that pretty much every puzzle in this game just got solved. I understand the need for power bombs in a Metroid game, but all in all, they're pretty difficulty breaking when it comes down to fighting hidden items. More freezes, more ominous shadows. Wait, I remember you. There's still no time! We need to get back to our ship urgently. The power's gone on the whole station and we need to fix it. Here we reach the boss rush part of the game, and one of my favorite parts aesthetically. I just love the giant machinery covered in vines and plants. It just looks so cool. I want to live there. After spending some time admiring the scenery, it's time to fight this giant spider, which was really hard for me as a kid, but all you really have to do is just sit in the corner. I don't know whether it's because I'm too used to this game or something, but a lot of the boss fights in this game seem a bit easy. I remember vividly how much time I had to sink in as a kid just to get through phase 1 of a fight, but coming back to it, there's really not a lot of challenge in this game. At least we get space jump. Whee! It's so stupid. You'd think turning on the auxiliary power would be the end of our troubles, but you'd be wrong. It's time for another visit with the SAX, which also took me a crap ton of time to get past when I was younger. You just have to run forward and shoot backwards and you're good. Wiggling our way through more vines and plants, we reach yet another boss fight. This time with a giant plant that shoots lasers. Destroying it like an epic gamer, and we get the plasma beam. recovered beam now pierces enemies. You remember that ominous shadow from before? Yeah? Good. Now you can finally pay attention to it. I think we might have wanted to deal with this sooner though, seeing as literally everything is destroyed. But it's fine. This path of destruction leads us straight to the culprit. It may have been better to not find it though, because this thing is ugly. The first part of the fight is pretty tricky, but after that you just have to spam missiles into its stupid face. Great, now we can walk underwater. This whole area is pretty boring to be honest. You just have to navigate through a few rooms until you reach an upgrade that you weren't supposed to get. The computer is pretty mad about this, but what's he gonna do? He's a computer. We're now told to go and beat up the security robot again, but first we try and get into a restricted area with no luck. Now it's time for Robot Fight 2 Electric Boogaloo. Turns out this thing had a brain in there all along. Weird. Defeating it gives us our final blaster ability, the Wave Beam, which penetrates walls. This now lets us go through that door that we're definitely allowed to go through. I don't know why they wouldn't want us to go and see their secret Metroid breeding operation? Oh god, not the SAX-2. I've gotta get out of here. Oh well, ain't that convenient, the whole thing's gone. While confronting the computer about this, we discovered that the Galactic Federation, which I have to say is the most generic sounding name for a space government I've ever heard, has been breeding Metroid for military purposes and that there are several more SAX on board. That's not all though. Turns out Samus's suspicions were right. The voice she recognized as her old commanding officer Adam really was Adam. The Galactic Federation seems to put the minds of great leaders and scientists into computers for preserving. As touching as this reunion is, it's still really freaky that the Galactic Federation has been stealing and washing brains for their own gain. Something really icky about that. With Adam now back to his senses, he gives us one final and desperate mission. Destroy this station and everything in it. Yes, it's time to try and put an end to the X once and for all. The X aren't going down without a fight though. While trying to activate the self-destruct, the SAX puts up its dukes and fights to the death. Finally, we get what we've all been waiting for. An epic 3-stage battle that includes lots of charge shots, a giant death monster, and the last Korax we'll ever have to fight again. Victory seems to be ours when the X floats away out of reach, so I guess no power-up for us. It doesn't matter though, we have more important things to worry about. Once activating the self-destruct, we have only 3 minutes to get the heck out of here. Running through memory lane and a road of carnage, we reach the docking bay, where our ship is mysteriously gone in our time of need. Maybe we can run back through. Oh no! The X are no longer our biggest problem. Somehow an Omega Metroid has found its way into the bay and is ready to throw down. This thing beats us to a pulp in one hit, and when all hope seems lost, a miracle happens. Putting aside our differences, the SAX returns to save our life. Giving us its power, it's time to chew bubblegum. Not gonna lie, the sound the Omega Metroid makes haunts my dreams, but that's not the point. Putting an end to the beast and our adventure is complete. Our ship flies in to save us and we get out of there ASAP. Station explodes, and we can only hope this is the last time we see the X. Looks like saving those animals earlier turned out to be really important after all. The ship can only be started manually by something living, so it looks like our little buddies are the true heroes of this story. With a finishing time of 1 hour 37 minutes and a completion rate of almost half, our journey comes to a close. Now it's time to look at our save file and admire our godly time of 0? Oh yeah. So it turns out that if you don't save your game at all from start to finish, which I didn't, your time doesn't save either. Honestly, this is a really fun challenge and not too difficult a one either, considering how short the game is. And that's Metroid Fusion. I know this game isn't perfect and there's parts of it even I don't like, but either way, I still recommend this game to everyone. Heck, I'd even recommend getting a Game Boy just for this game alone. But hey, that's just me. I hope you all have enjoyed. Please consider hitting that like and subscribe, and I'll see you all next time.